Anyway, I'm so joyful to be back home. I'm still feeling like Chiloto,
Yeah.
It's like a dream being back home. And I'm so glad. However, it's interesting that you are reading if Mr. Tayali is found guilty, as if in Kwatomland. I have no case. No case in court. No case. I have no case in court at all. So there is nothing like if found guilty or if you would have been found guilty, nothing. I'm just happy to be home, and be happy for me that I'm home.
I'm happy to.
Yes, especially you, my sister. You should be happy. You shouldn't be like those other politicians. Which law? Which law? I mean, I'm a Zambian. Which law do I need to come back into my country? There is no law. By the very fact that I'm a bona fide Zambian, I'm a citizen of this country, there is no law that should be read whether Chilufya Tayali should come back or not. So there is nothing such as lawful, not lawful, illegal. There is nothing. Yeah.
Mr. Tayali, it is good to have you back, as I said earlier. And obviously, the questions surrounding your return to the country, as you've rightly put it, there is no law that obviously restricts you from coming back to your own country. Let us talk about what has necessitated your return, because I think from our last interactions online, our online interviews, you did speak about how you wanted so badly to return to the country.
Yes.
And I think on one of our interviews, you even pleaded with President Hakainde Hichilema to have mercy on you, just so that you can return to the country.
Yes.
Run us through how you got back into the country.
Yeah. So first of all, there are these speculations, allegations, innuendos to say I have been favored by the government because I'm supporting President Hakainde Hichilema, and that's why I've come back. I want to state it categorically here that my return has got nothing to do with President Hakainde Hichilema or the UPND government. Nothing. At no point did I interact with the UPND. At no point did I interact with President Hakainde Hichilema. The only people that I engaged, it is those who are responsible to prosecute cases, that is NPA. And it is because they are the ones that were prosecuting the cases, and that's why I had to engage them. But in as far as UPND as a party is concerned, nobody ever discussed this matter with me. President Hakainde Hichilema himself, especially, nothing at all. Now, how did I come back? Of course, I went out, not out of my free will. I went out because of what was coming. And again, this is another point that I want to emphasize. I didn't leave Zambia because of the cases that were in court. No, that is not why I left Zambia. I left Zambia because of what was coming.
And what was coming?
Well, I don't want to dwell so much on it because there is what I may call a reconciliation. They were, you remember the day that I left on a Friday, and on Saturday, some people were at my house. They broke into my house, got things and whatever. And those are matters that I don't want to discuss because there is a reconciliation. But the point is, suffice to say that
there is a reconciliation between you and who?
Let's say with the security system of this country. Okay, the security operatives. Let me put it that way. The security operatives. There were issues that they had, which were not in court, and these are the issues where a reconciliation or an understanding has come.
So it wasn't the matters that were before the courts that led you to leaving the country and going into exile?
No. It was what was coming. It was what was coming, and that is what kind of made me feel that my life may not be secure. And that's why I left.
We wouldn't want you to leave us in suspense, Mr. Chilufya. Mr. Tayali, tell us, what is this that was coming that you are afraid for your life for?
Yeah, so the issue is that I'm going to emphasize on what has been discussing in the background. What has been discussed in the background and resolved.
Right.
So, look, if you iwanga chakovati mwalaka nomunove or nangwabalume mwalaka mwapusana and whatever, and then you resolve those matters, it would be unwise for you to start going in the public to say, oh no, this is what happened, oh this is what happened. No, you have resolved those matters. You have resolved. There was a misunderstanding between myself and the security wings, and those matters were resolved. They have been resolved. And those are the matters that took me outside the country. But since I went out of the country, we have been engaging, and we came, to an understanding. Okay, we came to an understanding. So they are not issues that I'm going to start bringing up here. I'm just wanted to make a clarification that it is not those cases that were in court, because those cases that were in court, actually, I had already started engaging the complainants even before I left. I started working on them even before I left. For example, you remember very well that one of the issues that I had was against His Royal Highness Chief Mukuni. And this matter, before I left, I actually went to Chief Mukuni. We resolved. It was on camera. Everybody saw it. He publicly, forgave me. He publicly forgave me. And the matters, what was remaining was just a matter of withdrawing the matter from court. But we had resolved that matter. The other case was a case where I said, we Bembas as useful idiots. The complainant in that was, the Lusaka mayor candidate, Chitambala, a.k.a. Simon Mwale. He was the complainant in that. And even in that one, I had engaged and we had resolved way before I left.
Right.
Then there was also the issue of the mutiny that you spoke about. Even that case was also being discussed. We were at a point of also, withdrawing that case. So all these cases that people are talking about, I had actually started engaging, and they were almost withdrawn from the courts even before I left. But of course, when I left, I still continued through my lawyers. We continued engaging the complainants, and of course, the process was already started. So it was resolved. The only issue was to engage NPA. That was the only issue. Even before I left, it was about engaging NPA so that they can kind of endorse our outside court settlement. So the process continued whilst I was outside, and actually I should say that NPA was, I hope they will not be upset, but NPA were quite hard, because we should have resolved this. Before I left, these cases would have been closed. But even when I was out, it took me more than a year, more than a year, until finally, with the persuasion of my lawyers and the complainants, persuading them to say, look, we are not interested in this matter, because the complainants were feeling like I'm outside because of them. And they were like, we want this man to come back. We want this man to come back. So please, can we have these cases closed? And so the cases were.
Don't you think it's right for people to assume that you fled the country because of the many cases that were before the courts of law, and you pleaded not guilty, then you went into exile, Mr. Tayali. Don't you think it's just right that people would think it's because of those cases, especially that you were even asking the president to forgive you so that you return?
So you see, there are not many cases here. There are only 3 cases. 3 cases which I have gone through. Number 1.
3 is a lot.
No, 3. 3 is not a lot. So these are the cases, and the complainants, these cases were brought before courts by individuals, not government. And so I went to the individuals and we resolved with the individuals. So those assumptions, they are assumptions, they are politically motivated. And why do I say politically motivated? Because the people who are talking about these cases today are those people who were actually vouching for my innocence. People who were standing with me to say, no, he's innocent, he's innocent. But because I was on their side, and now I am supporting President Hakainde Hichilema, they have turned around and they are saying, no, he should be arrested, he should be arrested. They are not consistent. For them, it is politics. As long as you are singing their praises, then you are innocent, no matter what you do. This is why even people that were insulting, everybody, like this young man who has got a strange name, who was on social media, TikTok, he was every day insulting people, and they were calling him a hero. Even people who are criminals, who have been convicted, they are being called as, political prisoners because they are on their side. They are not consistent. I'm consistent. What is wrong is wrong.
How consistent are you?
I'll give an example. For example, and you allow me, because she's a politician and she has spoken about my case. Bamumbipiri, for example. Bamumbipiri, at one point, she was arrested. And she was in prison. And I was outside vouching for her innocence to say, come on, this woman did not commit murder. And I kept on, talking for her. And even today, in spite of what she was saying, I cannot come back here and say, no, Wamumbipiri, I think she was guilty. No, I cannot do that. I will still say, no, she was innocent. But for her, when I was on the PF side, she was one of those people that was saying, no, he's innocent. And today, she's one of those people that is in front to say, no, he should have been arrested. So that is not being consistent. That is being hypocritical due to political expediency. And that is not right.
Let's speak about how you turned your back on the late 6th Republican president,
yes.
Dr. Edgar Chagulungu. May he so rest in peace, Mr. Tayali. We saw you on so many occasions,
yes.
before you left the country,
yes.
Defending the former head of the late former head of state.
Yes.
We saw you interacting with members of the Patriotic Front, yes. at the time when they went into opposition.
Yes.
When you went to Malaysia, Mr. Tayali, it became a different story. I think when you realized that you needed to come back home, you started speaking ill of the former late president, and even speaking about individuals like Makebi Zulu that represented you as lawyer, and you started calling him Malukula. Mr. Tayali, so let's talk about, if you speak about hypocrisy, how then would you want people to label you? Because these are people that stood by you and you turned your back on them.
Very good question, very good issue that you have brought about. I was supporting PF, President Hakainde, President Edgar Lungu, and when I went out, I changed. And where did I change? Number one, Edgar Lungu, we pushed the agenda of Alebwelelapo. I was here. And that Alebwelelapo agenda actually brought a lot of problems on me. Edgar Lungu was always sitting in his house in Ibex there. He didn't come out. And I was busy saying, look, come out. He didn't come out. The other issue, there was the issue of eligibility. In my view, that issue of eligibility, they would have fought it much better than what they did. And I told Walungu and everybody else to say this eligibility case, once you lose it, that's it. Forget about presidency. And indeed, they lost it. And when they lost it, I told Walungu, you have got no chance. Can you hand over to somebody? Can you hand over to Mundubire? This Mundubire you are dancing today, Mundubire Wingire. I'm the one that was pushing that agenda. And I was telling Walungu, endorse this man. Walungu did not endorse Mundubire. He didn't endorse Mundubire. And that for me, I said, this man doesn't have a political future. And yet he's holding on to presidency. The way it is today, I'll be very honest with you. If Walungu had endorsed Brian Mundubire, at that time, ngana ikosa bola apa. Ngana ikosa bola. Nomba, mnandu wako ati Walungu wali keno kuchita endorse Mundubire when he was alive. Bola apa, it's a walkover for Haka Inde Ichilema. It's a walkover. So I'm giving you the reasons why I flipped. I flipped. Number one, Walungu wali katire.
You're on record saying that President Lungu should have stayed in retirement instead of getting back into active politics, Mr. Tayali. But you also pushed for the Alewele Lapo agenda.
So look. So first there was a Alewele Lapo agenda. Walungu, when I saw Walungu holding on to power, I wanted Walungu to let go. And that is where I joined Isaac Mwanza, who had gone to court to say, this man is getting salaries and yet he's doing politics. I wanted Walungu to get out because he was really hindering the progress of the opposition. The opposition is weak today because of Walungu. I'm telling you, the opposition is weak today because of Walungu, because Walungu held on to power. And I wanted Walungu to let go.
Did you at the time, Mr. Tayali, did President Lungu at the time represent the entire opposition in the country?
Sorry?
Did he represent the entire opposition political parties?
Lungu was a former head of state. He was the big guy who would stand against Lungu. He was the most influential politician. He was the most influential politician. That's why Mundubire today has got even a Kalitu crowd because of Walungu. Walungu was the big guy. So anyway, put your point here, why did I change? Because because Nadia Kunse, Isaac Mwanza na alimu join, I was in Zambia. I changed. I wanted Walungu to let go of power. I was still in Zambia. When I went out, I continued. And then later on, Walungu waisa ambokulwana. I knew of the element of Walungu. And in the background, I used to say, Walungu, let go. I was engaging those people that were writing to say, you guys, can we let this man rest? And when Walungu could not let go, somebody advised me, say, Tayali, stop talking about this. This man, is sick and whatever. I closed my page. I closed because I felt that, I cannot continue hitting him. Then I continue hammering him. So I closed my page. I stopped talking. When I opened my page, I reopened my page when Walungu died. That's when I reopened my page. And I reopened my page because those who were around Walungu, they had intentions not to bury Walungu. They wanted to use his death for political mileage. And I said, this is nonsense. And that's when I started talking. So, there is nothing like me nalefo kuwela because fighting with Walungu kwa Chwale Kereko, I was still here. When I was there, I was still engaging. I flipped, especially when I saw that walefo kuwomfye chitumbi for political mileage. And people refused. People thought I was just, hallucinating.
Allow me to ask you.
But look, up to today, 1 year over. But now, right. And that is what made me flip. That is what made me say, Arabantu, they are not good for our country. and Hakainde Hichilema is far much better off, and hence my support for President Hakainde Hichilema.
Let's talk about the people that you say turned their backs on you because you stopped supporting them. At the time, Mr. Tayali, when you couldn't appear before the courts, two of your sureties, and namely Honorable Mlenga Fube, who's former Chilufya Member of Parliament, and former Mpika Member of Parliament, Francis Kapianga, were ordered by the courts to pay 50,000 each.
Yes.
For you, because you failed to appear before the courts.
Yes.
And they did pay that 50,000 each.
Yes.
And you sit here and tell us that because these people are not consistent, just because you're not supporting them anymore. How do you expect these people not to turn their backs on you?
Have you heard Kapianga talking about my arrest? Have you heard Mlenga Fube talking about my arrest? No, they are not. They are not. So you cannot awa balelanda ni bamumbi pili na awa mdala wa brebu na changala na bambi. Those who understand my situation and everything that was going in the background, they are not saying anything. Not even Brian Mundubile can say anything about my return. Not even Brian Mundubile can do that. So me, I'm addressing specific those who are talking about it.
You have been addressing Brian Mundubile as well. And today,
yes,
today Mr. Tayali
is not ready to rule.
Today you are sitting here and telling us that you were telling President Lungu to endorse Brian Mundubile.
Yes.
And I think that for you, you're saying he was going to be a force to reckon with.
Yes.
And today, when you are in Malaysia, Mr. Tayali, you were saying that he's not ready to rule.
Exactly.
He doesn't even have a proper manifesto.
When did Mundubile emerge now as a leader of the opposition? When did
it make sense for us, Mr. Tayali?
Yes, I'm making sense. I'm making sense. That's why, because Balungu, if he had left power and endorsed Mundubile at that time, Mundubile would have a far much greater influence than he has now. Because Mundubile, he has only emerged just about 2 months or so ago. You know, when they formed the Tonse, look at how Balungu caused the mess in PF. PF is in tatters because of Balungu. PF was divided. Uyayo, Kushani, Shani. If only they had gone for the convention. If they had gone for the convention with Balungu alive and somebody emerging as president, particularly Mundubile, emerging as president, Mundubile would have been far much better. But today, Mundubile is raw. He's raw because balimucheresha Balungu. Abamufumya bwangu. Mundubile lero ngana kwata kwa maka. No mbapa. Ni woko opa kuli Hakainde.
So you believed in Brian Mundubile then?
I still believe in Brian Mundubile. Listen to me. I still believe that Brian Mundubile is a good guy. And I've never said Brian Mundubile is a bad guy. I've never. I only say this man is not ready. And indeed he's not ready. Look, the man doesn't even have a manifesto. The man doesn't have resources. He doesn't even know where to touch. He's just going chipante. Why? Because balimuchereshwa Balungu. Balimuchereshwa.
How's he going chipante?
He's chipante. He's chipante. Look, ngatakwete manifesto. It's very difficult. Mundubile is making manifesto as he goes.
Well, why do you say he doesn't have a manifesto? Because we've seen a printout of the Tonse Pamosi Alliance manifesto.
He even said it himself. He said, when we go to people, we listen to the people, then we go back and add into our manifesto. We don't have a general manifesto, he said. He said, we don't have a general manifesto. So we go to people one day ahead. When we hear what they say, then we go back. But now you don't do that. That is not how you come up with a manifesto. You come up with a manifesto. Yes, you engage people, and a manifesto is what should convince you to say, I think I can be president. I think I should be nominated. Now, Mundubile didn't. Ma pressure, and he's just being pulled. So, and this is because Balungu did not let go of power at the right time. The confusion that is in opposition, it is because of Balungu. Then Chaisa Ishanomwana, Chaisa Chiwipa no kuwipa nomba. Balungu bafwa, instead of handling that issue of Balungu bwino, bafi penya kuli wine Makebi messed up the issue ya Balungu, info ya Balungu. You can say no, the family, whatever. No. They have been doing politics. They have been doing politics for over a year. They have messed it up, and they have messed up the entire opposition. And that's why today, Hakainde Hichilema doesn't have a contender. He doesn't have an opponent. He doesn't. That's why he's even talking about more than 5 million votes. And I'm sure he's going to get more than 5 million votes.
If President Hakainde Hichilema doesn't have a contender, why do you take time to discuss Makebi and Mondowile?
I discuss politics. I'm a politician. I discuss politics. These guys are playing politics, so I discuss politics. I'm not discussing, I can't discuss you. Have you ever heard me discussing you? No. I'm discussing, these are politicians, and I'm not just discussing them, I'm discussing them relevantly. I mention this Makebi because Makebi has been at the center of Info-Yaba Lungu. He is the man that has been championing this. All the confusion that we have, it is because of Makebi. And you can say, no.
How so, Mr. Tayali?
How so? He has been doing this to propel his political ambition. And I said this even way before Makebi Zulu could step up as a presidential candidate. I said it because I knew what was happening in the background. I know Makebi, by the way. Like you said that he used to be a lawyer, whatever. I know Makebi. I knew his ambition. But you see, some of these people, ngabale kweva, waufa ambition kawat, no, wamulolesha, alefwa, uina alefwa wukateka, wamulolesha, nombe yakwa tutarika nenanko, wamuleka feta, it's okay, you know. So I knew Makebi's intentions way before. And so when all these things was happening, I came out and I said this. I told you, Ruvinda, open your eyes. Given Ruvinda, no, my sanga muni mwamone ni nomba is shedding maize. Bali banyunya, Kamakebi kali banyunya bengi. I want number one to anikani wa Mausam. He has ended up number, but UPND alliance. Because Makebi messed up everything. And he has even forced himself as a running mate on Brian Mundubiri. And this is why, thank God they will not win, because really, it would be a chaotic government. It would be a chaotic government. Mundubiri still stand. Mundubiri is a good guy. He's a good guy. But unfortunately, he's even surrounded by people that have got crooked minds, uncouth people. People abashakwate mitima, abantu abengasunga ekitumbi kya muntu. Over a year, na bachisunga fye, ati yo, tukashika nga tuwawina.
All right, Mr. Tayali.